Hey YouTube, welcome back. Finally making some progress on the 424, working on the PTO shaft and the axle pin. Here we go.
So I'm trying to make progress on this 424, trying to get basically the front axle off, fix the steering, and get the front axle off. So as you guys know, so I don't know if you can see it. Let me get down here. So basically, I started smacking out the axle pin right there, but stupid me didn't heat it up, started moving, everything was great. I'm like, oh, this is gonna work. And I realized I had buggered up the other end and didn't clean it up before I started smacking it through. So now it's jammed exactly there. So that's a pain in the ass. And so, I had to fix the steering. So, and this universal joint is stuck on this PTO shaft. These two are frozen right here, and I can't get them off. And I can't just slide it back because there's no more travel on the transmission. So, and then the steering linkage up top here, the one that pivots this way, that one's frozen as well. So, since I've tried heating this up, and this is not going to separate. So the plan is to, what I want to do is I'm going to take the back half off just enough that I can drop this PTO shaft. So I basically just have to move it maybe 4 inches back. So I'm going to disassemble or detach this frame from the transmission, slide it back 4 inches, be able to take the PTO off and swing it down, and then be able to get something in here to be able to jam it, separate these two, and have a better idea of how to slim it. If worst comes to worst, I can always sacrifice that PTO shaft. I don't want to, but because my plan is to put a deck on this anyways. But I can always find another shaft if I truly had to, for some reason destroy it or breaks or something. But if I can get this off, hopefully get this separated, get better access to this pin, push it, clean up this end, push it back in, and then maybe jam it out that way, and then have access to the steering. So again, it's typical. I've probably made it a bigger project than it needs to be, but it is what it is. So let me see if I can get the back half separated. All right, some progress, some success. Basically got the PTO shaft disconnected from the transmission. Basically, these are only attached bolt-wise, basically just 4 bolts. So there's 2, one comes in this side, one on the other side, and then 2 right there. One there and one there. So basically I just took out the side bolts. I disconnected all these levers so they don't hang up. I didn't disconnect any wiring. Well, I did one just because it was crusty. I wanted to take it off anyways. But I left, a lot of the other, solenoid and relay stuff wiring, and then just took off those bolts and basically just popped it just past that bolt right there, and I was able to unhook the spring-loaded balls on there, and then just drop it down. And I basically just braced the rear end because I knew it was going to go down, and basically just slid it back on. So I'll just pop this back together just so I can eventually wheel it, because I know I'm not going to be able to finish tonight. So basically just do that, enough of that so I can roll it around without it falling apart. And I'll also try to see if I can take the PTO shaft off the front end here. All right, actually that slid right out. As you can see, it's still attached, but I just crawled under and actually just slid right out easily because it's so greased up. But this shaft is still stuck in there. It's got a key on it, so the whole thing is just frozen. So I'll have to see if I can somehow get that out at some point. All right, so I got this C-clamp. I borrowed it from Tractor Jake. So as you can see, like I said earlier, I tried to push the pin out this way, but stupid me forgot to clean up this side of the pin, so it got into it, and then because I didn't clean it up, the end was all buggered and it's now jammed in the middle of it. So the plan is to jam this flush, so use the C-clamp to bring it back to, you know, even or flush with this edge up here, and then figure out the next step. So let's see if I can crank on this and get it out. Okay. All right, I'm leaning on it pretty good. It ain't moving, so this thing is probably needs to be heated. I don't want to break Jake's C-clamp, so I got to be careful doing this. So let me get some heat going on this. I'll be back. All right, I got it to pop. Just put a little more force on it. Literally shut the camera off. Just put a little more in it. You know, like it does on you know, like in, you know, more like hydraulic ram or something, like where, you know, you do the pop, all of a sudden it pops and builds up and pops. So I got the first pop, and now it's moving easy. Thanks, Jake. All right, there it is, flush, that was the intent for that. Now I just got to figure out, you know, I got to put some spacers on it to do the same thing, but I got to be able to put, you know, something that I can use this C-clamp but straddle this. So I got to figure out, you know, what do I have for spacers. Maybe we'll just use this, but put bolts or something over here, something that can raise it out. So let me see if I can figure that out, and I'll be back. I got my spacers. So these are just some pieces of steel I got from my neighbor. He collects scrap metal, so I just happen to pick these up exactly for this type of stuff, where I need to press stuff, I need to, you know, it's just hardened steel. It's just really hard steel. So now I'm going to use this circular plate to go on this side and then press. So hopefully when the opposite end of the C-clamp gets flush with that end, it'll be now protruding from this end, and then I'll slowly keep working it out. See, it's coming through. Would be good if I threw some lube on it. almost there for that. Now, all right. So that's about as far as I'm going to get it. Now it's flush on this end, so now I got to add some type of spacer or something on that side to be able to push down the throat of it. So I'll probably use maybe a socket or a nut or something. So let me see if I can set that up. I'm basically pausing it so you guys don't see me smashing my knuckles. Progress. Yes! Yes! Woohoo! Thank you. Thank you, Jake.